you've seen a lot and pretty savvy. So maybe this isn't like your specific sphere of influence, but do you think, like, given the opportunity to sell alcohol in a venue, does it prohibit or spur on binge drinking ahead of time in your history?
Oh, wow, that's a complicated. Yeah, like I'm not Freud. Okay, so I don't. Come on, man. Come on, man.
But
Don't ask me.
extremely funny.
Don't tell me.
I'm looking for a little
Don't.
insight.
Well, I mean, alcohol is not like. I mean, I'm not saying I don't drink, but binge drinking not my thing. You know, I would just say if you're binge drinking, that's generally an indicator of a much deeper problem. Let's just put
Okay.
it that way.
All right.
And
All
I
right.
don't think it has anything. I don't know that there's any correlation to football.
All right.
But I would say that if you're looking to increase the number of binge drinkers, adding alcohol at a stadium before a football game is a pretty strong method. Like there's some math here that if I was to do some analytics on it, I think yes, we would get more binge drinking this way. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, with a little bit of a smoother segue, how many drinks would I need to have, Jason, as a Steelers fan, to be convinced that this Tomlin, Rodgers, Metcalf new era with Khan year 2.5 is going to work in 2025?
Well, you might consider the binge drinking at this point.
Ah, ouch.
Sorry. No, look, you guys set that one up.
I know. I cheated.
Okay. Yeah. No, look, I just don't think it's going to work because I just don't think Aaron's that into this anymore. And now he has some good reasons. You know, he got married. Wasn't that what being a football practice wasn't a priority for him at age 41, having gotten married for the first time, and I get that. But he hasn't really been engaged in the whole full-time activity for a few years now, right? So I watched this happen with Dan Marino. I watched it happen with other quarterbacks, where as soon as you detach from it at any level, it starts to unravel. And yeah, Rodgers has gotten hurt, and that was a big problem. But like they weren't really functional until the second half of last year. He wasn't functional until the second half, and I put a lot of that down to he wasn't working at it every day a year ago at this time, or off season ago, I should say, and he didn't work at it this off season either, with another whole set of new teammates. I mean, there's a level of orchestration that goes with playing this sport that you have to work at to make it possible. And so I just have my doubts. On the flip side of this, I hope it works.
Right.
I hope he goes out really strong. I hope that, I like Mike Tomlin. I like Omar Khan. I think that Aaron's really interesting. I'm not sure how much I like him. I think DK Metcalf is a monster of a receiver. They're all guys that you want to see people do well. But when you do the calculus on will it work? Yeah, go back to the binge drinking.
Wow.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll get my binge drinking question out of the way as well, I guess. With all the turnover the 49ers have had over the offseason, are you buying a resurgence from the season from hell they had last year where everybody got injured? It seemed like they got really old overnight, and they kind of tried to restock this year. Are you buying them bouncing back this year, or you think it's going to take a minute?
Well, I think that they're going to be better than last year, and they screwed up some games early in the season, and then they started to look really old as the injuries started to pile up. So, I still think Kyle Shanahan's a great play caller and a great, deviser of schemes that, put you in games. Is he a great second half guy? We can have that debate, ad infinitum. All right. He's not a great comeback coach. He doesn't have a team that's built for it. All those kinds of things. There are criticisms of Kyle Shanahan you can make, but overall, I would take him in a heartbeat over all but probably 3 or 4 coaches in this league. So I like him. I like Purdy as a quarterback, not necessarily as, I'm not trying to put him in the top 5 or 6. in the league, but I think he's somewhere in the, in that second half of the top 10 down to 15, where if things are healthy around him, he's functional. I think that getting rid of Deebo Samuel was a move they had to make because Deebo just wasn't taking care of himself. Big question is Ayuk. I think that the second-year kid out of Florida is really good. But that offensive line, they haven't invested in it other than Trent Williams, and Trent's hitting that age where it starts to all fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
So you hope that he can put it back together, but there ain't a lot of talent outside of him.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have to trick it up a little bit with him, and he has to be healthy, and they have to trick it up. So it's a tough combination. It's a tough balance. Like if one thing goes wrong, it all kind of falls apart. Like you lose McCaffrey, you're really losing not just your best runner, but you're probably your second best receiver. You're the one you trust the second most.
I got a 2-1 here, but I want to set it up with what your thoughts are on the quarterback class. When it's all said and done, and it's 7, 8, 9 years from now, in your opinion, who's the best quarterback in the 2024 draft class?
2024. So
yeah, that's May, Daniels, Penix, McCarthy, Nix.
May, Daniels, Penix,
Williams,
Caleb Williams.
It's gonna be Jaden Daniels. I mean, he can really play. I think May is probably second on that list. Penix is interesting because I think he's going to be really good. I don't know that he's going to survive to year 8 or 9 because his knees are so badly damaged and he can't really move. So you wonder what kind of player is he going to turn into, if that makes sense. But I like Penix a lot. Nix, okay, we'll see. It's interesting. It's fun. It's still a little bit of kind of wild hair. I just feel like there should be a Bo Nix drinking game of some kind to get back to the theme of this whole segment. About every wild thing that he does. Like that should be a shot like that.
So let me ask you something, Jason, because
people are going to think that I'm just like I wake up, like taking shots at Jack, and I'm like Red Label or something like that. It's just bad, man. I really don't drink.
Oh well, here is
okay. Yeah, here we go.
Listen, we're like kindred spirits because a lot of times in our opening segments, people felt like I just had some Casamigos or some Clase Azul tequila chilled. So we got that together. Let me ask you something though, especially in the division. He was 20 touchdowns, 6 picks. 63% completion, 3,600 yards. He was sacked a ton. He's off script. He gets a new offensive coordinator as his head coach in Ben Johnson. I asked this a couple weeks ago to my partner. Why are we so hard on Caleb Williams, given the rookie year wasn't horrible, and he has a ton of talent? Why are we so
pretty good
dismissive of Caleb Williams?
Because he has a high wussy factor. He really does.
Did you just drop wussy?
Yeah, I just said wussy. I just said he has a high, he just has a high wussy factor. And it's it's the fingernails, it's the crying on the sideline with your mom, it's the, your dad is too involved. You won't talk after games when you lose at USC. You throw tantrums. Dude, you. And the other thing is, you just hold the ball way too long, and you hang your offensive lineman out to dry. From a functional football standpoint, like Ben Johnson should just say, 1, 2, 3, ball gone. 1, 2, 3, ball gone. Let's get rid of it. Get it out of your hands. You're not Superman in this league. You're really talented, but stop trying to throw off your back foot because that doesn't work here. He killed his offensive lineman. And I say that having, I just went on a diatribe lacing into him, but he's freaking talented. Like he's good. Like when if you were playing 7-on-7 and there were no guys around him, he was just sitting there throwing it to receivers running patterns. He can deliver. I mean, he's seriously talented. But there is a factor that goes into being a quarterback, which is a really high standard of you better be a tough guy, and you better be.
Is it intensified in Chicago? Is that sentiment?
Yeah,
of course
it is.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a football city. And it's a cold weather, gritty, nasty place. Okay. And they expect football to be tough guy football. That's what they do. So yeah, like it's like playing quarterback in Pittsburgh is like that. Playing quarterback. The places you can be a pretty boy quarterback are LA and Dallas and Miami. Like those are the cities. And I lived in Miami. I grew up in LA. I lived in Miami. I've been to Dallas enough times. You can be a pretty boy quarterback. And it's okay. Like they'll cut you some slack. But you go to like Midwest towns, coal mining towns. Not that Chicago's a coal mining town.
The Rust Belt areas, the Clevelands. I get it.
You go to that Rust Belt. It's like, no. We grew up hitting each other in the mouth. Not that that's a healthy thing, but that's what they did, right? And that's how they expect football to be played. So, yeah, Caleb is not that guy. Caleb plays pretty boy football, and that whole offense that they play out there under Lincoln Riley is such a BS offense. Wow. It's total crap. I hate that offense. I hate the way that it plays. It doesn't teach tough guy football. It doesn't teach get rid of the ball. It doesn't teach throw on time. It's just, we're going to recruit better athletes than you have, and we'll take advantage of whoever your weakest cornerback is while we play out of 2-point stance.
I hope you're right on the 21st when they come to town against Nebraska.
If you got people who can hit people in the mouth, I mean, I don't know what kind of athletes you guys have right now. Haven't had a whole lot of them in the last 20 years, but
wow.
Yeah. Well, hey, it is what it is, man. You guys say what it is.
I love your consistency, though. I tell our guys, our co-hosts, I said, you better ask some good questions, man, because Jason doesn't pull any punches, man. You better be pretty secure.
Man, come on. I mean, look, Nebraska football, like that's history, man. But like the days of Tom going and paying some guys to get athletes in, those are long gone, man. Like it's just like wow. That's just not. It's not the same. It's not the same anymore, man.
All right,
I mean, you used to be Lawrence Phillips, man, and now look at you.
All right, listen. That would hurt. Let me.
It's true that you know I'm right, though. You know I'm right.
Let me ask you something. These next 4 or 5 minutes, we've got you. If a team's going to come back to the pack from a year ago, who's the more likely candidate, Minnesota or the Rams?
Oh, Minnesota.
Because of McCarthy?
Well, you don't know what McCarthy is, right? You know that Matt Stafford will make you a competitive team. You're going to put enough guys around him because he's going to ball out. And because he doesn't care anymore about how big the defensive linemen are. He doesn't, he's seen everything that you can possibly throw at him. He almost beat Philadelphia basically by himself last year. Mm-hmm. Like that was a really, really good game, right? And that's as tough as anybody played Philly last year. I mean, there were some games that Philly lost, obviously, but like in a high pressure situation, that was as much as the Eagles had to handle all year, and he did it. And they were, playing it pretty well peaked. Minnesota, look, you start with the quarterback, and then they win a lot of close games, and part of that is coaching. Give them credit. O'Connell does a really good job of gaming up situations, but they're also just as likely to go the other direction, which is what they did 2 years ago. So I like the talent in Minnesota. I probably like the talent overall a little bit better in Minnesota, I think Javon Hargrave is a prime comeback guy to return to what he was 3 years ago in Philly. But can McCarthy play? Like, we've never seen him have to throw 35, 40 passes. And that's what they're going to do, because that's what they like to do.
Jason, more likely, speaking of the Eagles and then the other team they played in the Super Bowl, the Chiefs, more likely to be challenged by somebody in their own division, Kansas City and the Chargers, or the Eagles and the Commanders?
I'm not quite following. What do you mean,
within their own division?
The Commanders.
Who's more likely to get challenged within their own division? The Eagles with the Commanders nipping at their heels, or the Chiefs with the Chargers?
It's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Because Philly's more talented overall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've got ingredients. But Mahomes,
he's got to be on the vengeance tour, doesn't he? If you're Mahomes.
No, they just
I think he hears the rumblings, right? Is Burrow the guy? Like, I think he feels that people. You don't think so?
No, I think he knows he's the dude, man. He knows it. I'm sorry, he's the dude. It's like, it's down and out in Beverly Hills. He's the dude. But see, the thing about it is, I think that Mahomes last year did such an amazing job of making up for what was a horrible offensive line by the end of the year,
mm-hmm.
and making it work. He and Reed were in sync so well, and they were able to adjust the things that they do. That I like that. With Jalen Hurts, Jalen has to have everything be perfect around him. And if it is, then they're still the preeminent team, right? They're better than Washington.
Mm-hmm.
But if it gets messed up a little bit, Jalen has less room for changing up his style of play. And so I always come back to who's got the better coach and the better quarterback, and that's going to be Kansas City. And I also don't think the Chargers, despite Jim Harbaugh and all his really weird affection for Justin Herbert, like, it's getting a little bit kind of out there. And despite that, I just don't trust that team. I think they're going to play tough guy football. I like the kind of football that they're going to play. It's not going to be pretty football, but there's an ingredient missing from them at this moment. And maybe Harbaugh will get it, because he certainly has done it everywhere he's been. But it did take him a while at Michigan before he finally figured it out. And I think it might take a while with the Chargers to figure it out.
That's our guy, Jason Cole. Jason,
appreciate you sneaking us in before the meeting, Jason.
Great stuff as
I
always.
got to get a couple shots in.